You join me in the Netherlands at the Zeekr Studios in Amsterdam, and behind me we have the Zeekr 001. You've seen me with Kyle in the 001 FR. This one has the same sports wheels as that model, but not quite the same trim. There is a special spoiler on the back. This is a special edition, and it specs out at around 72,000 euros. This isn't something that we can get in the United States, but while we're here in the Netherlands, I thought I'd show you around the showroom and see what we're missing out on. Here in the Netherlands, electric vehicles are everywhere. There's on-street parking, bring your own plug charging. It's an amazing place filled with options. One of those options is here at the Zeekr Showroom in the heart of Amsterdam. All the cars you could ever want to see from Zeekr are on display here. We've got the Zeekr X, we've got the 7, we've got the 001, all here at this amazing showroom. One of the keys to Zeekr is affordability with luxury. So even though the 001 and 001 FR are exciting vehicles, they also have these entry-level affordable options for the family. This one we're going to start off with is the Zeekr X. There's a couple models here on the floor. Let's go check these out. The back of this reminds me a little bit of the BMW i3, that back roofline area there, but I love just the overall look. The gray on black is always something that to me pops well. Love these rims to be just all blacked out as well as possible. But even in this entry level vehicle, it's got a nice sleek look. Even though it doesn't have the retractable handles, it does have these illuminated ones where you put your hand in and you can see it pops out the door a little bit. It doesn't open it all the way the FR is that we saw with Kyle, but inside here you can see this base model still has nice ventilated and heated seats. You've got your single screen in the middle, and then even on the driver's side you have a driver display. As we hop inside the driver's seat, let's take a look at what we see. I really enjoy this, having the driver display. I know a lot of vehicles have omitted this, but personally as a driver, I appreciate it. We are not able to test drive it here, but I just like checking it out and seeing the way that it's all laid out. Even for myself as a pretty big guy, I have no problem sitting inside this vehicle. You've got here kind of the ambient light strip down here on the door. Nice soft touch all the way around. There is your cup holders, manual door release, all the kind of things that you'd expect to see in a great vehicle. Let's pop the front, which is always my favorite area, and let's see when we pull this handle here. Let's see what's in the front area. So I'm not actually sure what to expect here. Let's take a look and see. We do have a small front area, nothing to be excited about. I always prefer if this is a bigger, more usable area. I guess in Europe, though, this does make a lot of sense because there is a bring your own charge cord, and that I think would be perfect for this. The way the charging infrastructure is here, this is a useful frunk. Although in my dream scenario, this would be much bigger and this would be powered. I just think you use it more when it's powered, but still great to see that there is something here from Zeekr. Having a family, the back seat is equally as important as the front. So let's take a look back here at the room that we have as we take a look inside. One of the things that I always look for right away is this area here to separate the space for the kids and to have a couple cup holders. So I enjoy seeing this here. Again, the material is great. Looks like it's ventilated as well. I can't confirm that, but just looking at the way the seats are made, this certainly looks like ventilated seats. Over there, it's got that cool little ambient light pattern back there. That looks pretty awesome. I like those little touches that we see here with Zeekr. As we sit in the back, let's take a look as far as space. The foot room back here, I gotta say my feet and my knees feel a little bit high. There is room here between my legs and the seat in front of me, so that's not a problem, but this is not going to be the most comfortable for a guy my size. Something interesting I didn't notice when I first sat in the front is there are like sunglass holders here right above on the driver's side. I've never seen that quite done before, and from back here you can really appreciate that panoramic roof of glass. Back here you see the charge port door and that traditional Tesla placement. Not exactly perfect or ideal in Europe, however, because there is street side parking where this would actually be on an inconvenient side. But as we press this, we expect to see the CCS2, which we do. On top here would be your home AC charging or your street charging right here, and then your DC right there down below. Let's go inside and see if we can pop the trunk space and take a look at that. As we go in here, we're just gonna press that button and we're gonna take a look at the storage area we have back here. This opens up nice and wide. Take a look at that entry. And then back here, you've got your rear storage. Right underneath, we should have some space under the back floor. There we go, we pop that open, and we do. Some space there. There is that charge cable that we talked about for the street parking, where it's a bring your own cable. It comes with it, it would appear, and then a first aid kit is down there as well. So then as we look at these seats, you can see that you can pull this handle and these would fold down on each side. I'm not going to do that, but that would open this up to even more cargo space. To close it, it's easy enough. You just press this button. It'll give a couple safety beeps and down it goes. So anytime we're talking about a family car, it's all about the kids. Avery, of all the cars that we have seen today, which one is your favorite?
This one.
Why this one? Why the Zeekr X?
The color's unique in here because that one's like a bright orange, and then the rest of them are like grays or blacks or whites, which a lot of people normally have those colors. So I think this one's unique because I don't see a lot of green cars that aren't like super bright like the orange one is.
All right, well, you can't drive yet, so let's have you sit in the back of this one. What do you think about the back seat space back here?
It's nice. And there's a kind of glass roofy thing I like. And then the seats are comfortable. Yes.
What do you think about that?
It's kind of ugly, this part.
It's ugly? All right, so everything's about...
Only a little bit.
Okay. Does the arm feel okay there? You just want it to look better?
Yes.
All right. Let's have her check out the other back seats and see what she thinks there. Now we've made our way over here to the 7X. This one is a step up in terms of size and luxury and amenities. It's a little dark, the color here, so I'm not sure how well this will show up on video. Hopefully it does okay for you guys. But here you can see it has the retractable handles currently out and presented here. And so you can take in that one. You can see as we enter, everything comes to life. You can see it light up blue all the way around, which I love. And here you can see the main screen. And again, that driver display. Let's go check that out from the driver's perspective. So as we jump into the driver's seat, again, really comfortable, lots of space, lots of room here. This driver display is more integrated as opposed to the little rectangle that was sitting on top in the X that we saw. Something that we have here in the Zeekr 7X that the entry-level X did not have, and that I really appreciate in my Platinum Lightning, is that the glass roof here has a retractable cover or sunshade. So we have a button here that we can press, and you'll be able to see that right behind me, that will cover up in the sun. And as somebody that is very bald and susceptible to the heat, I can definitely appreciate that. Right here, you've got two wireless charging pads. And then here on the center armrest, you can see that you can pop this open and you've got two cup holders. And then with these buttons here, you can see that it gives you those little dividers and separators for your holding your beverages in place. Something else that's important here that so many manufacturers are lacking, you can see here that of course you've got the car wash mode, but the important pet mode, camp mode, and even a stress relief cabin. So this is gonna take and set with your driver's seat and your front passenger seat. We can start the rest mode. The windows go up. My seat is reclining. And it's gonna give me a kind of ambiance here to relax and refresh and recharge. That retractable cover for the glass roof, you can see is also up. And it's now set up to recharge and relax. As we bring it back to life, all of the seating positions return to where they were, and we're ready to move on for the rest of the day or journey as it may be. So now let's check out that front space that we talked about. All right, this one is noticeably larger than what we saw in the Zeekr X. Still not as big as anything you're going to experience with the Lightning, but I'd say on par certainly with the Mach-E, especially now that the Mach-E has that heat pump that has shrunken it down some. There is not really a drain in here, it doesn't look like. Let me look below and see underneath. If there is one, there is not. So you would not really use this for ice, I would say. But again, for a simple backpack, or again, those charging cables that are here on the chargers that are on the streets of Amsterdam and other places in Europe, super easy to keep your charging cables right here in the front space. I do wish this was, again, motorized. It's not, you have to manually open it, but more front space is never a bad thing. As we make our way back around, you're gonna see that same charge port location on the back. We press this in, and you're gonna see that same CCS2 standard that we saw before for your home charging, then your DC pins down there. Of course, the charging here, even on the streets, the AC is over 200 volts. So that's a huge advantage, and something that I really wish we had available more commonly in the States. As we come back and look at the trunk space, or the boot, as some might say, where there's a little button underneath, or we can also pop it up from the screen in the front. It is so dark here, I apologize guys, but as we get closer, you can see much more space in the back, even with the seats up. We do have here a couple handles on each side to push the seats forward and give us more space. I don't see any buttons here for automatic folding rear seats, which would be nice to have. There is right here a 12 volt outlet, but no real power outlets otherwise back here. And again, you guys know I'm a big fan of power in the back. As we look here at the sub-trunk space, you can see that we do have, this is like a cover that would go back here, a cargo cover. And then underneath there is, again, those charging cables that are so common here in Europe. So that's interesting that this is placed in the back, but then can be lifted out and placed up here as a cargo cover. So good back seat space and good trunk space, I should say, even more when you fold the back seats down. Let's take and press this button here and lower that down. It'll give us the same couple second delay and beeps, and we are all closed up. So let's check out how the back space compares to the Zeekr X. I can already tell has much more space here in the back as far as legroom goes. It does have that center armrest that comes down with the two cup holders, which I always appreciate. And there's a little cubby space here, which is nice. Check that out with USB chargers, both A and C. Some people think, hey, there should only be C in there. Why do we even still have A? But nonetheless, it's available. Let's pop that back up there. This has a cloth seat. This does not look like it has any kind of ventilated seats back here. But let's take a seat and talk about the legroom. Legroom is great. This feels way more comfortable, way more spacious than the Zeekr X did. My legroom is great here, and my legs don't feel like they're up in the air the way that they did on the X. So really love this. Should have left that skylight open so you guys can see that. Let me pop that open so you can get some better perspective. With all the reflection, you can't really appreciate that exactly the way I'd hoped, but nonetheless, it is cool that you've got that glass roof. I will say that it is missing a screen back here that the new Model Y, for example, has. It'd be great if you'd be able to control some things back here on a screen. The Zeekr does not have one of those. Now Avery's gonna try out the Zeekr 7X. See if you can figure out how to get into this one, Avery, and let's see what you think about this backseat area. Was that one a little bit more intuitive? All right, let's see what you think about the interior of this one. Does it feel any different? Do you think anything different about this one?
I think the other seats are better, like a little more comfortable. I think mostly because of the material it was. Like, I don't know what it is, but this one has more of like rubber seats, so it's still comfortable, but the other ones are a little comfortable.
So interestingly, this one has cloth material seats in the middle, and the Zeekr X over there was all leather. So different trim levels. This one has a base price starting in the 52,000 euro, but can go up. And then the other trims could probably have all leather seats there. What about, do you feel any different about the space for seating and legroom.
I think this one has more legroom, specifically in the middle. And something I like are these seats because this is cool.
Very nice. And what about the center armrest for you? Is this one less ugly?
Yes.
And what about the middle storage area?
I like it because it has chargers, but it doesn't have as much storage as I think it could store things with.
All right. So semi-Avery approved. Areas for improvement, but not bad. Okay, as we leave the 7X, let's make our way back to where it all began, which is the Zeekr 001. The 001 is a little different than we saw back in the US with the 001 FR. That is a complete refresh of this model. It's much more sporty, 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. This one doesn't have any of those things. This is a previous model even from the 7X, so there is not the retractable sunshade. This one also doesn't have the massaging seats. It doesn't have some physical buttons that the 7X has, and the front space, I understand, isn't as big. We will check that out as well. But let's give it a quick walk around. This is a much sportier model. It's something that instead of the family vibe, it's kind of, I guess, like their Model S, and the 001 FR is like their Model S Plaid. So a little bit different vibe and form factor and customer that you're going to have in the 001 compared to the 7X or the starter base model of the X. Even though that one starts at 35,000 euros and 53,000 for the 7X, this one only starts at 55,000 euros, but it does go all the way up to 70,000 when you're talking about the car we started off this tour with. So a lot of room there for things like different wheels, spoilers, carbon fibers, different kind of things that you can put on to upfit this to kind of the next level of performance. Let's take a look inside. So here we see the same handles that we saw with the 7X. We put our hand here, and it does not open at all the way that the other two did. You can see it doesn't kind of present itself in any way. You kind of have to open it up there. Some people actually prefer that, to be honest, over the ones that pop out for you. So let's go inside and see from the driver's perspective. And you can see that, again, you've got that large center screen. You've got the driver display. This is almost like a combination of the first Zeekr X that we saw and the 7X, where it's kind of not fully integrated or molded into the dash. But it's not just the rectangle that we saw with the entry model that we looked at to begin with the Model X from Zeekr. So I do like it. It's got these little curved edges, and I'm not really sure. I guess they're just there for alert lights. I don't know, kind of a waste of a screen there, to be honest with you, unfortunately. But overall, lots of space again. And as we look, we've got the wireless charging. Here you've got your shifter for going into reverse, neutral, and drive. And you've got your integrated cup holders here. Instead of being in the center console, here you've got that kind of style. So you can tell that this is not the upgraded trim, or I guess not upgraded is not the right word. This is not the most recent refresh of the trim. A little bit different than we saw in the FR. The FR had all those crazy accents, the red and everything that I thought looked really sharp. And so a little bit different there as well. Now there is still that ambient light feature that we've seen in all of the Zeekrs so far. Again, there is not the physical buttons that we saw below the screen with the 7X, and there is not the cover here for the glass roof. That is different as well. As we look here at the different screen settings, let me see if I can figure out how to get back home. Looking at the vehicle, I'm not seeing like the whole driver's display like we saw at the beginning. Maybe I'm just missing something here. That's kind of cool just to see the navigation so you guys can see where we are in Europe. But even when I go to the home, I am not seeing a picture of the car quite the same. I really liked that in the 7X, how it had the whole picture of the car like we've seen with Tesla before. When we look at the opening up the front, that is the same grab handle that we saw before. Give it 2 pulls, and let's check out what we have there. So as we come around to the front, let's pop this open and see what we're working with for front space. And here you can see what we've kind of hinted at before. This is a small one, very much like the Zeekr X. And you can see here exactly like we were saying with the cable for the bring your own cable charging. That is right here which is pretty much all you're going to be able to do with that space. This does not have as much space as the 7X, very similar to the entry-level model that we saw. Again, I think if they refresh this 001, maybe this will change. But for now, that's really all you're doing with the front here. Let's close this up and take a look at the back seat and the back trunk area. As we swing around, we'll show the obligatory charge port door. This is just like the ones that we've seen before. And there you see the CCS2 standard. This one, interestingly, doesn't have any covers on here. So I don't know if that's just an evolution. I really enjoy the BMW ones where it's got a little latch that flips them open. But here, having nothing there at all is also not a big deal. I'm not a big fan of those pieces that dangle out that, I don't know, I just think look sloppy. But anyway, let's close that back up. Nothing really remarkable to see there. So Avery noticed something right away on the 001. What stood out to you, Avery?
The lights, because a lot of the time they're kind of just one light or have like smaller sections of lighting that's like the same one thing of lighting, but like, I don't know. But this one has like more detailing and I think it's really nice.
All right, well, let's see how you do get into the back seat of the 001, a bit more sporty vehicle. Let's see what you think here. Similar to the last one.
We can't get in there.
We've got the seats down. Let's flip the seats up. As far as me jumping in back here, again, lots of leg room here, not a problem at all. The only one where I really felt a little tight and lacking space was the Zeekr X, but this one feels just fine. Again, like we pointed out before, I wish there was a screen down here. This really only has, if we reach down here, has a couple more USB. You've got the A and the C that we talked about. But other than that, not a lot of features or amenities back here. We do have all of the soft touch like we saw before, and we do have the ambient lighting on the strips there. So that is consistent throughout the Zeekr lineup. All of these soft touch materials, the stitching, all the little areas of detail that I think are just a nice touch. I also really like the placement of the vents. So you've got the two in the center here, but what is so often missing is these on the side. So this is great for kids and pets. Not sure how many pets will be in the back of a 001, but I do like when there are side vents as well as center ones. I think that is a really big deal. And we saw earlier that they do have a pet mode in the Zeekr lineup. Different center armrest, so I'm gonna help Avery get this one down. There's a little tab here that you've got to give a pull to, and then that comes down a bit less easy than the other two did. As you can see, this space here, we'll have her check this out and give her thoughts. So what do you think about this space and the seats? Do they feel different?
These seats feel pretty similar to the first car. And then I like this part, I think is that still. This, I think the other one was better because this one doesn't have charges.
No charge ports. This is a little bit older model, doesn't have all of the upgrades that we have seen with the Zeekr 7X or the Zeekr X. Both of those are a little bit newer models with some newer features. This one, as we've seen, doesn't quite have all of them, including the driver display screens don't have all the same software either. So with that said, let's take a look at the trunk space. There's some unique things that they do back there. All right, as far as the trunk space, there are a couple unique things about the 001. Reach underneath here and pop this guy open. You can see this one opens up pretty much right away. Doesn't have the safety beeps that we saw with the others. But what's different here is a couple things. One, you still have lots of back space room here. And if we pull this mat open or pull it back a little bit, this one has a really massive storage area in the sub trunk. That is quite a bit of room. Kind of reminds me of the Model Y, where you could put an entire refrigerator down there. So that's cool to see. But what I also like here is it does have the same 12-volt outlet we've seen in the others, but what we haven't seen are these here, where you can drop the seats on each side. Now, Unlike the Model Y, it does not have a way to bring them back up again. You saw that earlier when Avery jumped in the back. Once they were down, you have to manually pull them back up again. But just look at all of the room you get. So for a sporty sedan, there is still plenty of cargo space and room if you're making a family run to the store or a weekend trip to the Home Depot. So love seeing the amount of space that's available here. And I thought that was a really cool feature. And then something that is different is this is going to be for your tow hitch. So as we press that button, watch what happens to the tow hitch. There you go. And now we can press that button again and you can watch it deploy back out again. So that's your tow hitch. Now to close it up, pretty standard, we're just going to hit that button. And as we back away, it lowers back down again. And that is the Zeekr 001. So that's going to wrap it up here from Zeekr. I just had a few minutes to stop in before I hit up one of these canal tours in Amsterdam. I saw the showroom and thought I had to come in here and at least check it out. What do you guys think? Would you love to see Zeekr and BYD and Neo and some of these brands hit the United States? Model 7X, for example, can charge 10 to 80 in less than 15 minutes. So that's pretty remarkable. You can see here that the styling is pretty cool and unique and modern. I love what they're doing here with these vehicles. I think it would add pressure and competition to our domestic auto market. We're seeing cars much more expensive in America. This is here in Europe, so these aren't even the Chinese prices. I really enjoyed getting to see them, and I wish that our market would start to innovate and see some of our own models that had a lot of these things, like dog mode, camp mode. There's a few, like Rivian, Lucid, Tesla, of course, that are getting it right, but our own domestic automakers have got to step up their game, or people like Zeekr and the others are going to take it over. So that's it here from Amsterdam. I hope you've enjoyed checking out these vehicles as much as I have enjoyed showing them to you. We will see you on the next video